Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. This is one of the most interesting conversations in the technology trendsetters that we are introducing as a program in Banking Frontiers Live, where we talk to some very forward looking technologists who have set new trends for the financial services business. With me today is Amit Purohit. Amit is the Chief of Digital at Aditya Birla Mutual Funds. With his background, right from being a banker to that of a mutual fund digital guy, and I am also given to understand that he started his career in pharmaceutical industry. So it's a varied experience. Amit, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thank you so much, Babu. Pleasure connecting back with you. I think we go a long way, so it's always a pleasure, speaking to you and your team.
Thank you so much, Amit. So all these things, one thing is very clear. There is a lot of play for analytics, RPA, data sciences, AI, and everything. And if you try to look at a solution that can help you empower all this, there is no one size that fits all. So how do you as a digital officer try to find out a blend?
Very complex question, and I think there is no right or a perfect answer to this, because what happens is there are huge amount of tools, all the way, from all the large entities are offering, the data lakes, and there is this huge debate of open source versus proprietary, solutions, and then the whole security aspect of it, and the larger part is, I mean, beyond all these, what is the communication layer that you are using? Because one part of the story is what kind of tools you use to churn the data, and you should be able to churn huge amount of data in the right way, and the timing has to be correct. Otherwise, the problem with the data is all postmortem. You look at the data, with the retrospect. So I think days have come, and in fact, everyone is moving in the direction saying, how do you do the propensity modeling, so that you not only kind of analyze the data and say that this customer has been behaving like this since last 1 year, 2 year, or maybe last 3 months, 4 months. What we have moved in the direction is how he is going to behave in future. Like suppose, and there is no, you can just kind of, based on the past data, you can reach or arrive at a propensity modeling to certain extent. You will not get 100% answers. Suppose it doesn't say that last 4 years I've been kind of buying equity, so next 1 month I'm going to buy equity only. By all means, I can go ahead and buy a debt product also, right? So there are tools. I will kind of, the reason I'll not be able to name the tools, but there are all proven tools that we are using, all the way from kind of slicing and dicing and kind of storing the data. That's one part of the tool. Second part of the tool is, since we know we get a lot of transactional data, so how do you archive those data and made available to a bucket of data? So every day, end of the day, there is batch processing which is happening, and we get various types of data. Data type is, which product the guy has bought. Second data type is how the transaction has come, whether it has come from your own website, or it has come through a partner, or it has come through a BSE or NSE as an exchange. That is second type of data. Third type of data is what payment instrument the guy has used, whether it is UPI or NEFT, or whether it is net banking. So huge amount of data. And obviously there is CAMS, which kind of gives customer level data points to you, saying that this is the product, this time of the day, and all those things. So it kind of keeps on piling. So the huge challenge that all of us have is, how do you kind of put it at the right place, and kind of try and kind of put it into a container. That's one part of the challenge. Second part of the this thing is, how do you start utilizing them on a daily basis, or on a very regular basis, on a real time basis. So not every data you will be able to pick from the container and use on real time basis. So you have to be extremely choosy, saying that what data at what point in time on which asset I should be showing to the customer, saying that this is what your behavior has been, and hence we feel that propensity for you to buy this product, or you to take action like that. There is another example which is also very stark. We do mine a lot of data, and run a model saying that which customers are going to churn, which customer are going to redeem tomorrow based on the past behavior, and obviously kind of putting it together with the market movement and all those things, we actually exactly are able to tell out of 10,000 customers, these 200 customers are likely to redeem tomorrow from these and this product, these and these schemes.
So you also need intelligence to work on data, intelligence of data to make it work intelligently together.
Correct. And increase on one side, the LTV of the customer. On the second side, how do you stop the leaky bucket?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Great. So that was a great insight. So let me just introduce you to the next guest we have in this conversation. His name is Arindam Mukherjee, and Arindam is heading the enterprise business at Oracle. Hi, Arindam. Welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thanks, Babu, and thanks, Amit, for wonderful insights. I think it is amazing to see the way you said that out of 10,000 customers, you can predict 200 customers with the churn. We actually are the creator of the most of the mission-critical data platform in this world. And when you think about mission-critical platform in a segment, there is no better example other than financial services and banks and financial services. So most of the critical banks, core application processes across the world runs on Oracle. And when this world was getting disrupted through multiple digital technologies and means and ways to get across to something what you call today the blockchain, trustless, distributed framework, etc., we felt an overarching need for us to kind of change and transform. And that's where the entire openness and the digital ecosystem that Amit just spoke about came into being. So we massively expanded on that. And about 3 years back, we came out with our cloud offering, which you call it a Gen 2 cloud. And the concept of Generation 2 cloud is that we possibly have learned from most of the innovations that the Generation 1 cloud providers of Amazon and Microsoft have done, and try to build on top of it with an architecture which actually heals itself, as per the need of the hour, which gives a flexible model of consumption, not suited to what the hyperscale's way of doing things, but the way customers want that. And typically, most of the innovations that you have brought it in, pretty much in the realm of what Amit spoke about, is because of a huge application portfolio. So the way we said that, if you are an organization like an Aditya Birla AMC, and you want to modernize your journey to digital and cloud native, you need to rewrite the application. What you said, since we know the application so well from our ERP, human capitals, marketing cloud, customer experience, etc., we said, why should we not build a cloud which basically requires you to do the minimum tweak and the changes? So a cloud which basically adapts itself as per the need and change of the application need, not the application to change wholeheartedly. That's what the Generation 2 cloud as a concept came in. One of the things that Amit and his organization is kind of working on is a super app. And that is one of the areas that we are fairly bullish about, the way to bring user experience, opening up the entire microservices framework of your application, connecting to a NoSQL database and sprawl it out as per the way you want to connect multiple distributed ecosystem. He did speak about the containerization. He did speak about API management of the third-party services on his platform. Many of these things get very seamlessly done when you look at a super app, which sprawls across the way you acquire a customer and the way you are going to be checking out the customer, building multiple frameworks around loyalty points, etc., etc. Multiple companies like Tata Group, etc., are also doing, and we're trying to work with them. As a summary, I would like to call it out, Babu, that there are few areas that we are fairly bullish in terms of the digital transformation in the banking and financial space. One is definitely what you're seeing is that non-PII data and the hosting and the applications around that is moving to the cloud. So you're doing a lot of work that if you are having non-PII data and it is tied to a critical application database, can you build a cloud which is within your firewall? And that is where the dedicated region cloud at customer or Exadata cloud at customer, multiple banks in the realm of most of the private sector banks you can think of, they have gone for something which you call Exadata cloud at customer. That is one way to adopt cloud within the premises of your firewall. Second thing, what you have seen is that digital assistant for employees and customer experience applications. So be it the branch level automation, be it FAQ based rather than actual customer based data giving an amazing automated experience to your employees, something what you are using our digital chatbot. The third application use case, what you have seen is in terms of application maintenance by using a machine learning driven operational analytics. And typically in any banking scenario, you will see that, say, a Flipkart is a merchant on a credit card platform, and it is suddenly going slow and the transactions are getting timed out. And you basically try to find, where the problem is. Is it in the application chain? Is it in the hardware resourcing? Is it in the middleware? Is it in the firewall, etc.? So through observability and manageability, we are working with multiple banks to kind of give you an exact pointed view across your hardware, database, application, and the middleware, where the flow of things happening. And it is to the extent what Amit is saying, it is able to predict yourself that where the next fault area could be, so that you kind of heal your infrastructure in a very seamless. So that's another area which you're working very seamlessly. And that's the beauty of the Generation 2 cloud. We are also innovating with delivering the low code and the cloud native application development platform, what you call it Apex. Apex is a platform. We are also creating a lot of connected digital ecosystem by using API platform. So we have multiple such properties available on our marketplace as well. And the last but not the least, we are doing a line of business decision makers likes of Amit with the self-service analytics dashboards. And in ICICI Bank, which we rolled out recently, is what you call a CFO dashboard. In National Stock Exchange, as an example, we have come out. They have actually taken their entire reporting and the end of their settlement processes entirely on cloud. Some 28 databases we are running on Exasys. That is Exadata Cloud Services, not even within the customer. We actually export most of our learnings and give customers like Amit and Aditya Birla AMC a seamless path to migrating basis the database implementation that they have already got on premises to take them to the cloud.
Fantastic. That was a great encapsulation of everything you had to say. And it looked like, you were firing all the shots even before I gave the war cry. I did not get even time to give you a question on what you're doing.
Sorry.
But it was an interesting insight, Arindam. What are the ecosystems that you have been creating, especially for financial services companies to take their businesses to the next level?
We are working with a bunch of independent software companies, ISVs, what you call it, in the digital ecosystem, and quote unquote, they are from lending to fraud risk to video KYC, and many of the processes which are getting disrupted with the digital. That is one leg. Secondly, is that there are a set of people who are basically creating this all together, put together, like a PwC and Accenture of the world, who basically gets the entire digital piece, which is a wrapper in terms of writing the business logic. That is the need of the hour. So that is another set of partners that we are working. And the third is the typical hyperscaler partners that we're trying to work with. We have recently launched a program where we are giving free certification and free, exam writing credits to all customers in the country till 31st of December. This is kind of getting you to be digitally literate on a cloud platform. The expectation is that what I exactly said, Babu, that we believe that India next couple of years will leapfrog to a digital economy through a bunch of citizen developers, which is like a no-code development, and everyone is going to be able to write a programming logic through graphical interface. The digital literacy starts.
Citizen developer myself.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And Amit, many of the tools that we are using in Oracle, they are developed by what you call yourself citizen developer. So you can build a website today in 24 hours, right? So you can bring amazing functionalities through the low-code platform. You're right. So that is what you're doing, Babu, in terms of building the overall DevOps ecosystems, if I may call it. And in IT services company, it is very prevalent. Sorry.
Fantastic.
No, sorry. Just add to your cause, Arindam. I think what it will do is a huge service to the whole nation, because the kind of ideas that citizens are floating with, I think many a times they get stuck because of the so-called shortage of development environment. So if you kind of open up that piece and you kind of democratizing that anyone and everyone wants to develop an app, and here is the ready tool available, it will do an amazing amount of service, to the whole community. thought of
Absolutely.
sharing?
And to echo your point, we have got different tiers of certification, like the basic, professional, and architect. We have made everything free for everyone. So you can
I think
get
that's
to
a great
some
service, giving it back to the. I believe many more unicorns will be coming out of this particular
absolutely,
initiative.
absolutely.
As a digital officer, where do you see the world moving ahead from here? And what is your advice to the digital officers of the future?
What I can foresee is for our industry, which is the investments and mutual fund industry, we are moving in the direction of product bundling and being available where customers are. Right. So till now, what has happened is obviously all of us in our very limited and selfish interest, we are creating our own asset and our own website and trying to kind of grab the eyeballs of the customer and say, hey, you come and kind of visit my asset and you will find best in class app and the website and all. I think there is great amount of learning which is coming to all of us and say that, be where customers are. Where they are and where they are spending a lot of their digital hours and minutes. You be there, and purely by being there also is not going to serve the purpose. You give certain products and the use cases which are part of their life, right? So in just one or two examples I'll give you, which is happening very nicely in the developed world, is the the rounding off of investments. So suppose you hypothetically you make a bill payment of electricity, and you say you have made a bill payment of 4,356 rupees, right? So you round it up to next 4,500 and say your 136 rupees. I'm just kind of putting a number. Why don't you put it into an index fund? Why don't you put that rounded off money into somewhere where it will keep on accumulating? You will not even realize. And one fine day, this money is going to be a sizable money. Just one of the use case. Second of the use cases, I think all of us in the investment community run behind investable corpus of somebody's money. So
Correct.
suppose we all are salaried. Babu, apart from you are an entrepreneur, but I think both Arindam and we are salaried. So you get money in certain chunk, like end of the month or beginning of the month, and then you plan a lot of things like this EMI, that EMI, this credit card and that credit card. And उसके बाद जो बचता है उसको मैं invest करता हूँ. I'm saying that why don't you change the whole cycle and say that your whole corpus, like suppose I earn 100 rupee today. Why not that 100 rupee is put into certain bucket, and from that bucket you put forward and reverse triggers saying मुझे पता है 10 तारीख तक मेरा होम लोन का EMI नहीं आने वाला है. What that money will do in the bank account on maybe 2.5-3%? Why can't it done better? In some instrument it is put, so maybe 10 तारीख को होम लोन का EMI आने वाला है. From 1st to 8th, that money will earn in an index fund, right? 8 तारीख को there is an auto trigger or auto redemption put in. The moment money is redeemed, next day it is put in your bank account. On 9th, money is there, so you don't have a worry that my EMI is going to bounce.
Correct.
Right. So like that, there are a lot of contextual use cases which will come more often. We haven't seen some of those. I mean, fortunately, we are working with some of the neo banks which have started rounding off of your money and all those things, and they are the ones who are going to make great amount of change in the consumer behavior, but by just being contextually present there. Second is the simplification of the products. All of us have made our products so complex. Small cap, large cap, mid cap. People don't understand all this, right? There's only one thing which they understand. Itna dala, kitna banega wo batao mere ko. Right? Some people are happy with 8%. Some people are happy with 12%. Some people say, nahi, mujhe to 15% chahiye. The cardinal rules are simplifying customer journey, frictionless. There should not be any drop because of whatever reason, apart from customers, net connectivity, because that you can't help. But whatever is there at your end in terms of infra, architecture, cloud, the failure proofing, the payment retries, because today, all said and done, after being NPCI and UPI also being there is great amount of work to be done on the payment front.
because there are lots of hops. From your UPI, it will go to NPCI. From NPCI, it will go to some other bank. Then it will come back. So there are some 3 forward and 3 backward hops. So how do you simplify and make it kind of failure proof? The whole world is trying to kind of contribute in some shape and form, and move in that direction.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Amit, for a wonderful insight and taking us through this entire journey of what you have seen in the AMC market. And I'm sure that contextual as well as analytics, AI have a big role to play in wealth management. We have probably just scratched the surface, and a lot more is yet to come in. So thank you very much, Arindam, and thank you very much, Amit, for your wonderful conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Babu.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you, Arindam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.